Hello everyone! I hope you are doing well and that you are safe during those difficult times. Luckily, we're finally saying goodbye to this terrible 2020. I have to say that during this year also many good things happened to me. I had a lot of good professional projects and I even got married. So it wasn't that bad after all. I do acknowledge that artists were in a much better situation this year than the rest of the society, and we could go on working normally. But my heart goes out to the people who had to change their job or that were in huge difficulties. But I still believe that we all have lots of good things to remember about this year too. So I made a list of all my illustration projects this year, and I chose 5 of the most special ones among them. I will share them with you in this video. So let's get started. The most exciting project. I normally haven't participated in many competitions because my work projects take up the whole time. But this year I decided I will take time for the competitions because they really help an artist to find their personal voice. So I made my best work I could and I was selected to the Cheltenham Illustration Awards. The messenger here is the pigeon, who is a reminder of the forgotten world. The annual will be published in the beginning of 2021 and there will also be an exhibition related to the competition. The project that made me happiest. So I live in Basel in Switzerland, and one of my favorite things to do when I'm not drawing is singing. And I sing in a local choir here. The choir's name is Bâlcanto. Bal is Basel in French. And during the epidemic, we obviously didn't meet very much. For last months, we really haven't seen each other. So what we decided to do for Christmas was a digital Christmas project. So we thought of making a video put together out of all the singing videos that everyone has shot in their own home and to create this musical Christmas greeting. So our concept was the Christmas house with single singers' videos placed in the house's windows. It was a big project and a few people put in a lot of work. My part was to actually draw the house and create the cute Christmas scenery. The painting took me 2 weeks because I actually had to invent the house, and it was very important that it had a certain number of windows on each floor, and the painting also had to be quite dark so that the videos could actually lighten up the windows. The house's facade was based on a couple of historical Swiss buildings. The process of making this painting had many phases, and I won't ramble anymore about this here. But if you're interested, you can look at the making of video right here. The most tiring, but a very fulfilling project. So, I've always had a hard time with time management. I don't know if you artists can relate, but for me it's terribly difficult to evaluate the time that I need for a specific creative project. And I always struggle when the deadline is approaching. At the end of this year, thanks to a friend, I realized that planning can be learned. But before that, I had quite a bad experience with failure in time management. And that was also why I started looking for a solution. And why was this project most tiring? Because before the deadline, I had to paint 25 hours straight. It was a piece for a children's literary magazine's December issue. It consisted of 2 pages of illustrations, and all the preparation work was there and the creative decisions taken. I just needed to get the final painting done. Somehow I always assume it goes quick from there, but I have never realized more than then that only my manual painting technique takes so much of time. So the final marathon before I had to send off the work to my client lasted from 8 a.m. in one morning until 9 a.m. in the next morning. A tip I would give to everyone who needs to work for that long is to have food breaks, so have snacks every few hours or so. Drink a lot of water, and I think I don't have to mention coffee here. So despite the zombiness next morning, I was still quite happy with the result, and I was quite impressed by my ability to actually paint 25 hours straight. The project I am most proud of. Last year, in 2019, when we all could still travel, I was in Thailand with my family, and we had a relaxing holiday. As I had a lot of free time on this holiday and we were relaxing in a resort, I was also doing some writing exercises. I have always loved writing, so I have written poems, some short stories and even articles, but never like a picture book story. Because for a picture book story you need a really strong idea, and I felt I was not ready for it. So when I had this free time on the holiday, I started doing some exercises and I was trying to figure out how to write a story for a picture book. At the same time, there were many heat waves in Asia. Then one day I saw news about a starved polar bear that was found in Siberia. And I suddenly had the story, and that was how my story was born about the polar bear Jon, who is forced to flee from his own country. So I remember we were sitting at the breakfast table with my family and I was telling them about this idea, and everyone got so excited, so that until now the polar bear Jon is like our fictional family member. This summer my mom gave me this crocheted puppet of my picture book character, which I found so cute, so I wanted to show it to you. It's made by an Estonian craftswoman, Tiina. Of course, the development of the story and the illustrations and the whole book project was a lot longer when I got back home. But yeah, there's this nice story about how I got the idea. The crazy thing is that the book with the title Virmalised, which is the Northern Lights in Estonian, was published during the lockdown in Estonia. So actually most of the bookstores were closed during this time. Virmalised was featured in TV, I gave a radio interview, and there were reviews in several newspapers. So that was really incredible and couldn't be more thankful. If you're interested to know more about the book, you can watch me read it here on the Estonian Children's Literature Center's channel. And don't forget to switch on the English subtitles if you don't understand Estonian. And the last project I'm going to tell you about. The project that made me improve the most. I've been trying to improve my gouache technique for a while now, and you can use gouache in many different ways. And it takes a bit of time to get to know it, it can be a little bit tricky. I am most fascinated by the realistic style, but of course realism can be very different, and I have tried to find a specific style in this category. So when I got the invite to participate in an Alice-themed exhibition in Rome, in the gallery Tricromia, I thought it was a great opportunity to try to do something that I really like myself and give myself a challenge. So this time I didn't have to address my work for a certain book or address it to my children's audience, so I was totally free. So I went after a darker kind of atmosphere and I created a grown-up protagonist. I think it actually was the best technical and creative result of the year. And it also gave me a lot of new ideas to work on in 2021. Check out the gallery's website that I will link below. Their collection actually includes many of the best European artists' works. So these were my 5 most special projects of 2020. I would love to hear yours. You can write them in the comments below. It can be a professional project of yours or a personal one. I'd really love to hear them. So thanks for watching. I hope you'll have a much happier 2021, and I'll see you next year. Tschüss!